Hello, my name is Sarah Eisnagel, and I work in the Office of College Access and Transition. Our office manages the College Credit Plus program, commonly known as CCP for Youngstown State University. Thank you for your interest. We appreciate you stopping by to learn more. If you have not yet watched the state's general presentation about the program, I encourage you to do so before watching the rest of this video. I will only be providing information specific to YSU's CCP program, so watching the state's video first will give you a broader understanding of the program. I also encourage you to review YSU's CCP website and our brochure. Here you will find additional information that will be helpful for students as they take the next step towards admission into our program and begin their journeys towards their college degree. You heard about many of the program benefits during the state's presentation. Saving time and money on future college expenses are the top two that stand out for students and families. Why, you may ask? College can be costly. YSU is one of the most affordable tuition rates for a four-year public university in Ohio, costing just over $10,500 a year for fall and spring terms. For students who dream of going away to school, it can be even more expensive. The more classes you're able to complete now, the less you have to complete in the future, thus saving you time and money on future college expenses. You can also save time on how long it takes for you to complete your college or high school degree. Some students choose to double major, minor, or use their extra time to pursue study abroad or internship opportunities in college. Some of our students have even used their credits to graduate from high school early. How you put your credits to use is an individualized choice. In addition, many of the classes are transferable to any state, colleges, or universities in Ohio. However, if you're planning on going to a private school or a school outside of Ohio, you will need to contact the school to see how or if your credits may transfer. Finally, being a CCP student also gives you the same access to our academic support services as any other YSU college students. These resources include an academic advisor who's assigned to students based on their major of interest, YSU's accessibility services for any students in need of accommodations, the Writing Center, where students can receive help with their writing assignments in any CCP classes, the Mathematic Assistance Center, also called the MAC, where students can get help with problem solving and math applications, the RESH Academic Success Center, which offers tutoring and includes e-tutoring, and MOG Library, where students have access to a large database and a ton of reference materials. There are numerous benefits to being a CCP student. Specific YSU benefits include things like a free student ticket to any home athletic event, following any COVID-19 guidelines, of course. Our students will also have access to YSU's Rec Center, provided you are at least 16 years of age, are enrolled for the term you want to use the rec in, and have a parent Rec Center waiver on file. There is a cost of $70 per term to use the rec that is not payable under CCP. When applying to YSU as a graduating senior, if you successfully completed at least one YSU course in CCP, we will waive the $45 application fee to apply as an incoming student. Additionally, any high school seniors who have completed at least 24 hours with YSU is also able to register early for classes as an incoming YSU student for the summer or fall terms. While there are perks to being a CCP student, there are also things you need to consider before deciding if this is the right choice for you or your student. For example, students are starting a college transcript. This will follow them all the way through graduate school. So it's important to take the classes seriously and do well in the courses. It's also important to remember that your college grades also go on your high school transcripts and are calculated into your high school GPA. At YSU, if a student is under the age of 14, he or she will need a parent or guardian to accompany him or her to campus for classes. You do not need to sit in the classroom, but you will need to be close by to escort your student. If you're taking classes on campus, parking is an out-of-pocket cost, not payable by CCP, meaning that you will be responsible to pay for it. The current cost of parking is up to $115 each semester. Students will also have to manage both a high school and college calendar. The dates may not match, and students will be expected to know the difference between high school and college classes. A big one for many students is snow days. While your school may be closed for snow, YSU most likely will not. If you are taking a campus or online class, you will still be expected to show up. Students should always review the course syllabus and make a decision about staying in the course prior to the 100% refund date of the term. Withdrawing after this date could result in the family being required to pay the district or state for tuition and books paid on their behalf. Also, please note that the subject matter of a course enrolled in under CCP may include mature subject matter or materials, including those of graphic, violent, or sexual nature. These will not be modified based upon participation in CCP or where the class is taught, including at the high school. We encourage you as a family to read over the YSU CCP brochure and our website. Contact our office with any questions you may have prior to making the decision if this program is right for you or your student. So you're probably wondering if this costs anything. That all depends on where you attend school and what type of funding you receive. If you're a resident of Ohio and are a public school student, or if you receive funding from the state to participate, you most likely will be doing option B. This is at no cost to the students or families, unless the student fails or withdraws from the course after the 14th day. Under this option, your high school or the state pays tuition and also textbooks. YSU then waives any associated course fees. Students doing this option will earn both high school and college credit, meaning the grades will be factored into both high school and college GPAs. The other option is option A. This is where you and your family pay for tuition, books, and materials. Students doing this option can choose to receive only college credit, meaning the grade is not factored into the high school GPA, or both high school and college credit. If you want high school credit, you will need to ask to have the course added to your transcript before the 14th day of the college semester in which it was taught. Only courses eligible to be taken under CCP can be taken under option A. If it is not a CCP eligible course, then you're not allowed to take it, even if it is self-pay. This is the state's policy. If you are a non-public or homeschooled student and did not get enough state funding for option B, you can self-pay under option A. Any out-of-state student will self-pay using option A rates and pay a $15 per credit hour out-of-state fee. One of the most common questions we get is how you can actually participate in the program. Once you have made the decision that this is a good fit, we then determine if you are eligible for CCP and are able to be admitted to YSU. First, you must be eligible by showing college readiness in one or more areas. If you're eligible, then you must apply for admission. If you are accepted, you must complete course placement testing and attend orientation. After orientation, you will receive information on how to meet with your advisor, and we will go over course options with you. It is important to note that just because a student is eligible for CCP does not mean that they will meet the admission requirements for the university. And if the student is admitted, it does not guarantee that he or she will be able to take any courses that they want. You need to meet the course placement requirements before you can take certain courses. So when we say eligibility does not mean admission, and admission does not mean course placement, this is what we are talking about. It is the 3 different steps. So let's break it down even further. Here at YSU, we use ACT and SAT scores to review students for CCP eligibility and determine if they can be admitted to YSU. So how does this work exactly? We start with one question. Do you have an ACT or SAT score? If you have scores, then to qualify for CCP, you must meet all the criteria below. ACT composite score of 17, or SAT combined score of 920, and a high school cumulative unweighted GPA of 2.0, and a high school unweighted core GPA of 2.0, and at least one of the following ACT SAT scores: ACT English 18, Math 22, or Reading 22, SAT Writing Reading 480, or Math 530. If you meet this criteria, you're in. The core GPA might have thrown you off a little bit if you're not familiar with that term. First, let's take a look at the cumulative unweighted GPA. It is the GPA that calculates all the grades of your classes. An unweighted core GPA, however, only calculates grades in math, English, science, social studies, and any foreign language classes you have taken. If for some reason you do not have a C or better in the core classes, please contact our office or discuss this with your school counselor before you apply. It is important to note that we do not round up for either GPA. If the school weights classes, YSU recalculates the GPA without it. We will use middle school grades and any classes taken for high school credit to determine GPAs for any middle school students who may apply. So your next question is probably going to be, what if my student does not have an ACT or SAT score? If you do not have a qualifying score, you still have options. You can take YSU's virtual eligibility test. To qualify for CCP eligibility and admission through this option, you must meet all the criteria below. A high school cumulative unweighted GPA of 2.0 and high school unweighted core GPA of 2.0 and at least one of the following scores: writing 263, reading 250, math 263. If you meet this criteria, then you're in. If you wish to take the YSU eligibility test, you have a few different options. First, check with your school to see if they will be hosting a testing session at your school. If not, contact us to set up an eligibility test. To set up an eligibility test, you can call our office beginning October 1st. If you receive a voicemail, please allow up to 2 business days for a return phone call. Our staff will ask you a few questions and send you an email with additional information about the test, including how to register for a test date. Testing dates are available now and are added on a rolling basis through the week before the deadline. The deadline to complete the test for eligibility is March 28th. You will receive your scores the day that you test. Students submitted through the eligibility test will need to complete course placement testing in English and math to qualify for courses. Be sure to complete the online CCP application. Just taking the eligibility and admission test does not admit you to the program. If you cannot say yes to any of the options I have discussed, then unfortunately you will not be able to participate in YSU's College Credit Plus program for the 2022-2023 school year. The options are outlined in our brochure and on our website if you need a reference back for what GPAs and scores are needed. If you are not a senior, you will still have the opportunity to apply again next year if your scores improve. If you qualify for eligibility and admission, the next step is to complete the YSU CCP online application. Our application cycle opens in January 2022. If your school is hosting an application day, you can wait to fill it out then. If your school is not hosting an application day, you can apply on your own through the YSU CCP website. We have a special application for CCP students to complete that will be different from regular YSU applications. If you are not sure if you are in the right application, please check with our office before you apply. If your school is hosting an application day, they may choose to send home paperwork at that time for the parent or guardian to sign. Forms can also be found on our website. Make sure you submit your letter of intent to your school or to the state if you're a non-public homeschool student by April 1st. If you do not do this, we will be unable to accept your application. A special note for any non-public or homeschool students, you will need your YSU CCP acceptance letter in order to submit your letter of intent to the state. So please pay special attention to the YSU application deadlines that we're about to go over in the coming slides. Your YSU CCP application is not complete without the following information received in our office by the designated deadline: a completed online CCP application form, a signed parent consent and financial responsibility form, an official copy of the high school transcripts and any college transcripts if applicable, and any ACT/SAT scores. A copy of a campus education plan if your student plans on taking any classes online or on campus. Any homeschooled students will have additional paperwork that they will need to submit, so please make sure you see our CCP website for additional information. Once we have all of the application materials, our office will review it and make an admission decision. YSU has the final decision on students admitted into the CCP program. This includes students who are only taking CCP classes out of their high school. Here are some of the important dates and deadlines for our program. If you plan to take the ACT or SAT in the future, these are the last test dates we can use to consider for admission into the College Credit Plus program. For all non-public and homeschooled students, the last ACT we can take for summer will be in February. The last ACT for fall and spring will be in April. The last SAT for all terms will be March. All non-public and homeschool students will have an application deadline on March 28th. For all public school students, the last ACT we will take for all terms is April. The last SAT we will take for all terms is March. All public school students will have a deadline of April 15th to complete their CCP application. Please remember any students who need to take the eligibility test will need to do so before March 28th. The YSU CCP application and forms will be available on the YSU CCP website beginning in January. Once you've submitted your completed application and all the necessary paperwork, your application will be reviewed. If you are accepted, an acceptance packet will be mailed home. In this acceptance packet, you will be assigned a YSU student ID and be given an enrollment checklist to help you navigate the next steps, including instructions on how to activate your YSU email account. Please keep this packet in a safe place. All additional correspondence, including orientation information and any course placement testing information, is only going to be sent to your YSU email account, so please make sure you're checking it regularly. Please remember that admission does not guarantee course placement. Requirements will vary by course. As I mentioned earlier, some courses at YSU require either a certain ACT or SAT score, completion of certain courses, or a qualifying score on the university's course placement tests in order to register. This includes classes offered at the high school. Placement requirements will vary by course. For example, Writing 1 requires an ACT English subscore of 18, while Literature does not. In order to register for a math course, a student needs to have a qualifying math placement test score or an ACT math subscore of 27 or higher on the ACT. At YSU, we use ALEKS for our math placement test. Some science courses require an ACT math score or a qualifying ALEKS score. We do not use ACT science subscores for course placement. The YSU course catalog will list any course prerequisites for each course as required. If none are listed, then none are needed to take the course. Please make sure that you send all updated copies of your ACT and SAT scores. If you have taken either test, we will use the highest score regardless of test or test date to qualify students for classes. If you do not have scores needed to enroll in a certain course, you can take the course placement test by YSU to try to qualify. Make sure you complete course placement testing if needed. You will be invited to do this via your YSU email account, so please make sure you're checking your emails regularly. If your desired start term is summer, placement testing needs to be completed by April 21st, 2022. If you wish to start in the fall, the test will need to be done by June 28th. And for the spring semester, the test needs completed by October 30th. There's no guarantee that any course placement testing completed after the priority deadline for each term will be scored in time for you to register for classes. Students are encouraged to complete all course placement testing early so that we can have the scores in time. Please do not forget to monitor your YSU email account. We will only be emailing you to your YSU account for any information on how to complete the course placement testing. All new students will complete orientation advisement. When you complete this orientation advisement depends on where you're taking classes and what term you want to start. If you plan on taking classes online or on campus, you will attend orientation part 1 in the spring at your high school. And you will then need to attend a part 2 advisement session in July for fall classes or December for spring classes. New students for summer will complete both parts 1 and part 2 on the same day in April. If you want to take classes only at your high school, you will complete an orientation session once for the entire year at your high school in the spring, or attend a virtual orientation session with us. Our office will then register you for your classes at the high school. If you want to do both, you'll complete the same orientation process as those students taking classes online or on campus. You will then register for your campus classes, and our office will register you for your classes at the high school. If your school is not hosting an orientation session, we will email your YSU email account for information regarding how to attend the sessions virtually or on campus, pending COVID restrictions. We went over a lot of information, so let's take a moment to review. Please take a second to look at the state's presentation and look over the YSU CCP brochure on our website. It gives you a lot of background information and may answer any of the important questions you may have. Discuss all the benefits and possible consequences of participating in this program. Be sure to sign up for eligibility tested by the stated deadlines. Have your letter of intent submitted by April 1st to your schools or to the state if you're a non-public or homeschooled student. Apply and submit a completed application to the YSU CCP by the appropriate deadlines. If accepted, keep your YSU CCP acceptance packet. Make sure that you activate and regularly check your YSU email account and complete any course placement testing by the associated deadlines. Also, please make sure that you complete orientation and advisement. Thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation. If you have any questions, please reach out to our office at ccp@ysu.edu or give us a call. We hope to have you in the program soon.